Wow. Ooh. Ah. Hello, all you groovy earth beings. Welcome to Quarantine Art with Miss Mitchell. Isn't nature the coolest? I love to be out in it. I love to draw pictures of it. You might remember from our nature art episode that I love to build sculptures out of it. And today I thought we could transform nature into our artwork. How do we do that? Well, one way to transform nature into art is by painting rocks. Like this. You could do something simple like these polka dots, or you could get a little more detailed like this family of beautiful red cardinals. All right, let's rock and roll. All right. So for this project, all you need is some rocks, some paint brushes, a cup of water to rinse your brushes, and something to mix your paint on. I'm going to choose a variety of nice bright poppin' colors. This is acrylic paint, and this is one of those projects where acrylic paint is going to work a little bit better for you. It's going to last a little bit longer and be a little more poppin'. Tempera paint would probably work, but if you have acrylic, use that. All my paints are clogged up. Ooh, a little much. All right, and then your rocks, you want to make sure that your rock that you choose has at least one pretty smooth side. If it's really bumpy, it'll be hard to paint your details. If you don't mind bumps and you're just going to paint big blocks of color on your rock, that's okay. But if you want to do something like the birdies that have a little more detail, you want to choose a smooth kind of river rock. I just found these in my driveway, so they're not perfectly smooth. I thought this one was kind of cool. It's like a perfect square. And I think I'm going to use this one for my birdie. So first things first, you want to paint your rocks a solid color. So if I am choosing a bird first, I think I'm going to do a bluebird this time. Sometimes if you add just one little dot of white to some of these darker colors, it really makes it pop. Blend those together. Oh yeah, that's a good bluebird blue. Pretty. And then you just want to cover your whole rock in that base color, and we'll let that dry before we move on to adding our details. You can paint both sides and the edges. I'm going to paint my edges first and then let this side dry, flip it over, paint the other side, let that dry, and then we can move on to our little birdie details. Okay, now that my blue paint is dry, I'm ready to add the details to my bluebird. And I chose this rock because it had a point here and a point here, so I thought this could be his beak and this could be his tail. So you can kind of think about that when you're picking out your rock, if it matches the shape of whatever you want to make. Or you can get creative, like on my other cardinals, I didn't have that point anywhere for the beak, so I painted the beak right on the front like he was looking right at me. So I'm going to try my best to paint a little beak right on that pointy end, using some of my yellow paint. Just give him a little beak. Oh yeah, pretty cute. If you hit a little bump and your lines aren't perfectly smooth, that's all right. Just do your best. All right. And then I'm going to add a few little wisps for my wing texture. Maybe with a lighter blue or with this white. And I just take a dry brush and dip just the very end of my brush in. Hardly any paint. And then I just do a couple little wispies like that to give them like a little texture. Oh yeah. And then my favorite part is adding the eyeballs, because I'm going to flip my brush over and use this end to make a perfect circle for his eyeball. Dip. And I'm going to stamp it right down wherever I want his eyeball to be. I'm going to stamp it straight down and straight up. Makes a perfect little circle. I think I want it to be a little bit bigger than that, so I'm going to try this bigger brush. Flip it over, dip the end in my white paint or whatever color you're using. Stamp it straight down. Straight up. Oh yeah. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to give him a little black pupil. Okay, that's pretty much dry, so now I'm going to add a little black pupil to the middle of my birdie's eye. Doing the same thing. I'm going to wipe off the white that's still on my brush, but I'm going to use that end of my paintbrush, dip it in the black this time, stamp it straight down, straight up. Cute! And then, you know, I love a good twinkle. I'm going to let that dry and do a little white twinkle on top of that. So easy peasy, just a few colors, a few brush strokes, and you have this adorable little bluebird. All right, I think that's dry enough for me to add my little finishing touch. Twinkle. Doot. Oh, wow. Cutie cute. Now my little bluebird is ready to join my little cardinal family. Aw, best of friends. Okay, now let me show you how we're going to make the dotted rock like this. I was saying that this was simpler, but actually I think it's just as tricky. You definitely have to have a steady hand and some extra patience. And I'm going to use my square rock for this one, and I'm going to start the same way. I'm going to cover my whole rock with one base color. Maybe this green. Ooh, pretty. And then we know how to make those perfect circles. We're going to flip our paintbrush over and use the wooden end to stamp straight down, straight back up, and make perfect little circles. But you got to be kind of patient, and you can't go back over one circle with a double dot like those in the middle until the first dot is dry. And you can't accidentally drag your hand through the wet paint. It's a whole thing. All right, so I'll let this guy dry, and then we'll add some decorative dots. Okay, now that that's dry, I'm ready to start my doodle dots. And if you want to just put random doodle dots all over your rock, that's totally fine. I usually like to put mine in sort of like a circular design, because it just helps me keep track of where I need to stamp next. So I'm going to choose a color for the very center of my circular design and stamp straight down, straight back up. Makes a perfect circle. And then if you want to do a double doodle dot on top of that, you just have to wait for that black dot to dry, and then you can really put any color over top of it. And then for my next row, I'm going to choose a different color and carefully stamp my circles all the way around that first doodle dot. You might have to re-dip every couple dots. This is where the patience comes in. Ooh, I like that pink and black together. Looking pretty good so far. And then maybe one more row of circles around that. Choose a different color, maybe go in between the row of dots that you just made. Straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up. So fun. You could also make your dots with a Q-tip or with the end of a pencil. Ooh. Whatever roundish object you have that you're willing to dip in the paint. And then I'm going to take another color, and like on this one, I just had a couple rays of dots coming out in a straight line. You can make your dots bigger or smaller by using a different size brush, or by not pushing down all the way. So when I come over here to make my dot, if I just barely touch, I can make a teeny tiny dot, or if I smush it all the way down, make a little bigger dot. Oh, I like that. These are really fun because you could give them to your friend, or you could hide them in your yard for people to find. Pretty magical. Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed painting rocks. Here's the joke of the day. When were rock puns the funniest? During the Stone Age. Our kid art of the week is by Aiden. Our Zentangle Animals project was a big hit. What can I say? It's a winner every time. Look how gorgeous this puppy dog is. Amazing attention to detail on the Zentangle's Aiden.